Well, welcome everybody to Friday Night at the Crib. We actually have much more news than we did on Wednesday when we normally are uh, more of an information dumping show as opposed to a conversational show. But yeah, I'm quite excited. Don't take excited as being completely positive, but because I haven't. I've tried to work through the slides, some of the ramifications of what happened last night with the release of the rivals extra auras and the quote unquote Voltron effect, and trying to figure out how that math is going to work out for all of your Conquer halls in that class. It's going to be interesting, and I would say save your structure build tokens because I think this is the shot across the bow that OP10 is coming quite soon. So I'm joined today by some fine young gentlemen. From left to right, Magic Mike.
Hi, how you doing?
Senior Daniel.
Hi, everyone.
And Two Doors.
Science.
And Barry and Hart.
Guten evening, everybody.
Okay. And this is Hefe. And how's everybody? Well, I watched Daniel go through part of. Well, Daniel did two things interesting in the pre-show. We got a quick little preview of the Lance associated with the Empyrean, and it seemed to be, at least in the Inquisition TLC, seemed to be fairly effective, considering he only had a single bare-bones ship, and was able to do quite well against the drones. And now we're joined by Father George.
Evening, everybody.
How are you doing there?
I'm alive.
Very good. That's all we can ask. And okay, should we start with the slides, or anybody have anything that they want to start with?
Did we just get nines in the form of a TLC? Like, is that what happened?
Oh.
Did I like misread the release notes and have them? Oh yeah, we're releasing a TLC later. Did I just miss that? I don't know if I just completely missed this.
But nines is like sort of, I guess, but it kept it on topic. Normally when we get nines, it's something just comes. He just brings up something random, like. We're talking about.
We had thunderstorms today. I hope everyone, fucking covered up and everything, and had tarps on stuff.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how evade works, but my cat just threw up a huge hairball. That's more getting nines. I'm not.
Did you know I got some calamity scatterguns on my tree outside that I just planted?
Yes.
Keep the neighbors out.
And they fruit this time of year.
I don't want to eat that fruit.
All right. Well, I'm going to screen share some slides. The big news right now is the combination of what's going on with the rivals and the Inquisition, which is not as crazy as what's going on with the rest, the whole ramifications of this. And I'm sorry that I cut off the 2500 6-day survivor build. Hopefully this won't continue because I'm actually using a different projection. This what I'm using to show this is a different aspect ratio.
Is your fan on? Because your mic keeps on picking up something. I don't know if you're just moving around or what.
Oh, it's a long story with the air conditioning in this place. It's
Okay.
because this place is. I mean, it's really crazy. It's like
Haunted, lovely.
Yeah, there's something going on with the mic over there, and I don't know what the hell it is, but
yeah, it's a fairly big house, and it's got one single air handler, and for my room, because the room I'm in, it's only it was an add-on, and so it has the air handler that handles the whole house. If the room I'm in is the only one that needs to be air conditioned, the whole power of that air handler goes into this room. It wakes me up pretty much 2 or 3 times a night, where it feels like there's a little hurricane going on inside my.
well, you know what? Take one for the team, shut the damn thing off, and let's do the show.
It'll be off in a second because it cools this place down in no time flat, as you might imagine. But basically, the Inquisition TLC is you basically are getting everything, but we're missing one here. No. We're getting build tokens for all the rivals, and then VXP for all of them except for the Inquisitor, which is the new ship. This is assault based. I would recommend using Phoenix or Skyfire. And if you don't have that, use your Apollos. It's very similar to some of the recent raid targets that we've seen. And the first go round was fairly easy if you have the ships.
I know Tool ran the entire thing from first prize pack through to mastery with his Skyfires, and he does have the flag, but he did the entire thing without repairing and ended up with 9 hours of damage.
Wow.
Going through the entire thing, so it's doable. I'm just not sure what, because I haven't had a chance to try it yet.
It's not that hard if you have with the right ships, obviously.
Yeah, if you got the right ships, it's fairly easy. And I don't have much going on with my gut spill Phoenix, so I was still trying to adjust to using macros to keep that in the corner, and it's a good chance for people to practice on that because if you don't use macros before, there's a lot of little ins and outs of it that can screw you up.
Yeah. My Phoenixes are done, and basically can go through each level with an instant repair.
Oh,
But-
nice.
Very nice.
But one cheese ball hit me, 4 hours. One cheese ball. And I've been through it twice. Yes.
Okay. Oh, and you're referring to what the little volcano building does,
The ones that I
not
said at
some,
the beach.
not some guy in the next sector that was sniping you, correct?
No, that's no.
Okay. Just clarifying for the viewing audience.
And my statement before, if you beach, you don't get hit, is false because its death is proven false in my own mind now because it happened. And I even have a countermeasure on it.
So what you're saying is that you won't believe us when we tell you that it's possible, but when it happens to you, then you believe it. Is that what you're telling us?
I hope you don't. I hope you don't believe that. George, I hope you're just
Well, I mean, I already.
I'm giving you shit.
I
Don't
believe
worry
it was
about
live on air.
because
So
because,
I want to gloat, but that's not the point.
the only reason I said it was during
Ah!
the entire raid. That's what I did. I never got hit once. So I thought, based on that it was an anomaly if you got hit. Others told me, I said, okay, fine. And then I'm just messing up. It has happened to me. And I did put a countermeasure on ships. So I always believe it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just giving you crap. That's a hell of a bonus to every damn rival. Holy shit.
Yeah,
well,
well,
we have another slide that deals with all of them, which is crazy. So at this point, let's just talk about, because there's more that deals with the rival bonuses that we're going to talk about later. But just the ship itself is, I think, it's the fastest of the Tier 6 Conquerors with a base combat speed of 28. The rest of them seem to range, I think, between 20 and 25. Decent turn speed. It has a structure DPS of 4,000. It's got a scattergun reload, but it doesn't have a scattergun range extender, which is what you see in the Pride. That adds 20%.
Yeah, but the speed on this thing, holy crap.
Yeah, I'm sort of wondering what weapon, if you combine those two factors with the additional concussive and corrosive damage, and the fact that all of its weapon slots are standard countermeasure and underwater. I don't know if I've hinted enough, where it has plus 10% splash built in. I'm just curious if it's, the Jesus will eat
What
it up.
what is Calamity Scatterguns, Alex?
No, I was thinking
They
muddle
have
missiles.
concussive and corrosive damage. What do you want?
Yes, I was actually wondering if it was muddle missiles, which are intended to take out ships, but then they add the structure DPS in there, and as we get further along,
Can't you?
you'll
Is it
see
a
that
sub?
it's not a sub, but
No.
it has
No, it's
underwater.
not
It
a
has
sub.
underwater.
But
It has underwater weapon
Yes.
slots.
Yeah.
They're all underwater, standard, and countermeasure.
No.
So you can you can fill this up with muddles if you want. And I'm still a little bit perplexed by this hull personally.
You guys think that this will be the hull that will press OP10 and get the upgrade on turrets?
I
don't
think we
it's
already
this hull
got
by
that.
itself. It's not this hull by itself, but it's what they've also added to the game when they added this.
Yeah.
And we'll get a little bit into that. But I think this is, yeah, I mentioned that at the beginning, that I think this is a shot across the bow as far as that goes.
Yeah, if I may, I think the ship that pushed on OP10 is already out. It's called the Masagos Pride. As I
Yeah.
understand it, it's really, really good.
Yeah, but I think the Pride can be stopped, but it's a bit more difficult. But this looks even worse.
Well, I mean, this actually has one glaring weakness. I mean, that evade bonus and no radioactive defense or what do you call it? Unreactive on it. I don't see. Is there unreactive? Am I missing it?
No, there's no unreactive on this.
Hot damn. Huh.
It's to make the Phlogiston better.
Yeah.
It has 3 armor slots. You can put out the reactive armor on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like the Prides before the V-Pride, a lot of people were putting radio plates on.
Yeah, but
I
that's
don't-
15,000. That's only 15,000 deflection, and the Pastor's what, 650?
It's
Yeah,
better than
I mean,
taking full.
8,000
Yeah.
on top.
I mean, at 15,000, if you have them on, if you have D98Us on anything, this thing's going to be just popping off every every second.
Yeah, and we see the. I have a slide that deals with the new, but basically here in the bottom right-hand corner is sort of a new stat where it's an aura that has an aura cap of 1, which means can't be duplicated inside the fleet, and it'll add to every other rival in the fleet. And the same thing happens with Bloodthirst. It'll add to the other rivals. So, as an example, we'll get into this a little bit more. If you reach Bloodthirst, this is going to add 4,000 penetrated deflection to
Good
any other
lord.
ship. And
But
I thought we weren't getting tier 7 stuff until after OP10. What the hell?
I'm more concerned about that corrosive and well, I think it's actually interesting because those 2 damage type buffs. Like they're not with any other one in the set. Although I guess it kind of matches because like the Liberator gives pen damage bonus, but it's the only one with pen. Like it gives bonuses to itself. But since the stacks share, it's kind of like everybody gets the bonus all at once.
Yeah, and here's the other new stats that have been added to the other rivals. The Incinerator gets 1500 corrosive, so it's adding 1500 corrosive to. The idea is that you're going to use one of each ship or some combination of ships and use these auras in order to buff the rest of the ships. Liberator 5000 explosive to the rest of them. Penetrative deflection 2100 from the survivor, and ballistics deflection of 3500. And this is all additive. This is all just going to add up on top of whatever your deflection is. And there's no crazy math here.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. So the only thing that's not in here is radioactive.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do next was take this aura that's a new thing, and then why don't we combine that with bloodthirst? Wait. I wanted to bring up a couple other things beforehand. I forgot. Oh man, I screwed up that slide. It's supposed to be animated. Damn it. Oh well. There's supposed to be other stuff.
You bastard.
I have all the bloodthirst behind there, but basically one of them adds. I have to read. Yeah, it's supposed to be on animate, but basically you're adding. I forget which one's adding 75% combat speed.
The Survivor, I think.
Yeah, one's adding 50% combat speed, one's adding 50% stun resistance, one's adding 50% turn speed, and one is adding 50% field resistance. I'm sorry that I can go offline and fix it. Why don't I do that? I'm going to stop screen sharing for a moment and try and fix this so everybody can see what I'm talking about.
This is rather interesting.
For me, it looks like it's going to be very overpowered.
Yeah, that's why I said at the beginning, this is a shot across the bow.
Yeah.
That OP10 is right around the corner.
Well, I mean, OP10, but we also, what are we getting in the next raid?
Thunder?
I mean, maybe, this is going to be interesting.
I thought it would be the Lust, though. Didn't they say the Lust was going to come out last raid?
I don't know.
The only thing that they said is that Lust is the next sin that will be released.
Yeah.
But it never got released.
This is the last.
Here's the other question too. Then if it's lusting after something, does that mean it's going to be taking abilities from the attacker, or from defending fleets? Like
that would be more like greed, though, not necessarily lust.
Yeah.
Maybe it makes other ships attack it like a taunt, or makes turrets attack it.
I'm just trying to see how you could interact with that much deflection, because I can't see them popping off something for OP10 in July.
I don't know what they're doing.
It's 3 months. That's at the shortest time through what? 3 months away? 2 months away?
I'm still holding firm on Visagos Pride was the first shot across the bow for OP10.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think you're right.
Actually, as I said before, it's doable to stop it, but of course it depends on who's driving, because I have been hit by both people that are excellent drivers and also people that are not too good at driving. But in some way it's manageable to stop them, but also you get leveled, that's true.
Yeah, I've seen some nasty builds and some really good drivers' hands, and I have no idea. That's just, just let me know and I'll take my guard out and you can just flatten me, because holy crap.
And the thing, because these are supposed to be the less skilled variant. I wouldn't call them like blitz like we would use for PvE, but these are supposed to be, yeah, I run around and kill stuff and then I run up the middle and see what I can kill. I mean, there's certain orders to things and this and that, and there's probably different strats depending on how many ticks of bloodthirst you can get before you have to go up the channel or face their main defenses. But this is supposed to be less skilled, so it feels like there should be more power at the expense of like super deep knowledge of all the mechanics and utilizing those in an interesting and unique fashion.
So you want to call this the Rivals 99 series? Is that what you're calling it?
Wow.
But I fixed the slide.
He will fly from London and find you.
I've managed to fix the slides, and these are also the auras that we showed before are different than these are just the bloodthirst, and they'll stack. As far as I know, they'll stack in the same way. So I've highlighted the ones where I'm not going to put in tables later, where the survivor gives you plus 75% combat speed, 50% turn speed, and the liberator's 50% field resistance, and the oppressor is plus 50% stun resistance. And then the rest of them, I've gone ahead and made a table of where once you add up the aura deflections, which are the new stat on the top line, then the bloodthirst deflections, this is what you end up, if you're able to achieve bloodthirst, this is what applies to all the ships in your fleet that are rivals. And I mean, on top of what they already have, and that's the tricky part. What do they already have? And I didn't have time to go through all of them, but the high, it's a, I don't know. I don't want to say it's overpowered at this point, but I'm trying to be on the positive note.
It has that potential.
It does have that potential, if not countered quickly and correctly. And then this is the increase in damage. This 15% is from the Inquisitor for the aura, but then these are the individual bloodthirst amounts.
Ouch.
And here's your total down at the bottom. And this is why I wasn't completely understanding what the Inquisitor was supposed to be used for, because and here's reload, because if you end up with 80% penetrating reload and then 115% corrosive, I don't know. I'm not sure how we want to mix all these numbers together. Well, because the Inquisitor itself wasn't really that good of because of the lack of range and the fact you have to go through walls, didn't really appear to be that good of I didn't think, I'm going to put raised scatter guns, or whatever on them.
Well, I mean, the one thing that we do have to keep in mind is to maximize this, you're going to have a complete mixed fleet, one of everything. So the people that are going to be able to take advantage of this are the ones that are on the higher end of the skill set. I don't know how this is the less skillful set, because if you can pull off hitting a base with a full mix of these, you are going to know A, how to drive, and B, how to dissect your target, so you know what's going when and when something else should overtake something else in the channel. And I mean, wow.
I think that
this is interesting.
The forum
we said that's
when this starts kicking in.
What's kicking in?
I think the forum will light up when this mix start to kick in and everybody's lies in ruin.
Well, I mean, the thing is the people that are actually going to excel with this are the ones that can excel in PvP in general. I don't think that you're going to have. I don't know that you're going to have a lot of players that are going to be able to handle a complete mixed fleet, because you can't just take one of them in and charge down the channel. Like at some point, if you start in, you might have to start with the Liberator and then overtake it with something else, and you're going to have to dissect the target, and you have to drive, and your timing's going to have to be down. And this is not like, this combination is not the less skill set. You know what I mean? Like I don't know that there's going to be a lot of players that are going to do it, but the ones that do get it are going to be rocking the shit out of everybody.
Oh yeah. I'm
It's
just building
probably-
this. I'm just building one of each, just so I can go out and hit level 53s.
I feel like it's got a higher skill floor, but lower skill ceiling, I guess you could say. Like, if you're really, really super like a god at PvP, you can take like the Seven Deadly Sins fleet, probably once it's done in theory, and go out and just wreck just about everything and do all sorts of wacky, ridiculous stuff, and it'd be awesome. But if you're bad with the Seven Deadly Sins fleet, you're gonna straight up die. And if you're bad with this, yes, you're going to die. But to be bad with this, it's a little more difficult to be bad with this because I see people still driving 5 prides right into my base, and they all die to a Catmore, and they're like, "What the hell?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"You're an
Yeah,
idiot."
but then the same thing that you can have with this is you can have like a lib come in and charge the channel and die, you know, at the first turn without maximizing its potential.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
there you die at the first turn, and the other case, you're dead before you're even in the channel.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but if
you
you're
can still
stack
fail with
pride-
this.
You know,
Well, yeah, I mean, you can still fail with this. It's just a little harder. But if you do well with this, you're still going to do well. I just feel like the design intent is for it to be easier to do well than with the 7 deadly sins. Although maybe I'm overthinking it and like
I think
better
that
thinking about this stuff than I thought. But I don't know.
when they're gonna release a new crew for us, there will be a crew that has a 50% bloodthirst. So if you're poor driving,
No.
you'll then manage to kill a base.
That's a little disgusting.
And you still see bases lined with like 60 res generators out by the entrance, and I had never, they're still out there. Those
That's like a
bases
white
that.
flag in this day and age.
Yeah.
Remember
You
an
wanna do 30
additional
seconds of
point.
extra work?
Remember an additional point. When you look at the 7 deadly sins in comparison to the rivals, and especially with this new aura setup, they are just as has been described. The rivals are designed to work different ships together in one fleet, where the sins, they tend to, like especially the sloth. The sloth does not shine until you put 2, 3, 4 of them in a fleet. Once you put 3 or 4 in a fleet, I'm sorry, but the sloth is just amazing. I mean, I have 7 mortars total on 3 sloths, and I'm dropping bases left and right with 2 good tanks in front of it. Cool. So the sins are more designed to work with multiples of the same ship. Bonuses. Look how the pride adds extra bonus by more prides in the fleet. Where this is actually designed to complement the different ships in one fleet. Instead of having multiple libs, you have one of all 5 of them, and they each complement the other very beautifully from the numbers on the paper, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but we still see a relative weakness. I haven't had a chance because there's so much. This adds a whole new twist to things because it still has a relative weakness to ballistic and radioactive. I'm not sure if this is like compared to the tower, the turrets, if this is like a certain percentage across the board, but it still feels like the ballistic and radioactive are weaknesses because, well, maybe they even, it's hard to tell because you need to compare the individual ships and then the turrets and all the specials that can go on them. And things are a little complicated.
If you put on 3 of the radioactive panel and the armor panels on each ship, you get 15,000 deflection from radioactive.
Yeah, but it's also has a pass through of about 600 or 650 per, which is, it's a big chunk off. But yeah, it's not, I guess, 1,800 or 1800 damage, whatever. But yeah, they have a pass through for that one. That's like one of the sloppiest armors out there as far as deflection goes.
Yeah, and also
Sloppy. I mean that it's less efficient at stopping things. There's still a lot of stuff getting through.
yeah, and also if you think the other way, as concerning your guard, if you have one Inquisitor, one Liberator, and maybe one Survivor in your guard, I think that will also benefit the protection of your base.
Yeah, and then how does the, maybe that's why we got the Justice. I don't, because I just wish they would. It bothers me with the fact that it keeps on saying ballistic thorns, and I don't know, for everything we've been told through, not necessarily them, they don't scream it out loud, but we've been told that the, ballistic protection doesn't matter and ballistic specials don't matter either.
Right. On the thorns.
So is there any reason the word ballistic is there?
No.
I think it's just, honestly, I think it's just the way that they had to program it under something. And quite honestly, I think they should have
programming under something, and then listing in a blueprint is a different.
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
They could have programmed it under plasma.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they should have done, is just called it plasma damage. That's what I
think they just should have called it thorns, and just left it at that.
I mean, what I read up on it, because I do vigilantly use a Justice, and it's amazing. My understanding from everything that I was reading on it is that although it says ballistic, the reciprocal damage is of the same type of the damage received. I'm just saying what I heard.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that's not correct.
And that it does bypass any and all deflection.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Just like a PvE target would.
The latter is correct. There's no mitigation of the damage of Thorn's damage whatsoever. No way, shape, or form can you mitigate it unless you're dead, and then you don't get any more. But it is not reflected damage back. Like, it's not, if concussive damage is dealt to you, it's not concussive back. It actually is ballistic, but really it's just damage. It's straight up damage to the hull. And that's straight from the devs. When I wrote the article, they went over it with a fine-tooth comb.
Okay. Well, thank you for the added info on that. I do appreciate it.
No, I mean, I'd rather have the info out there, because I mean, everyone, you talk to your ally mates, they talk to their friends. I mean, it's once we get the good info, we got to get it out there somehow.
But Bernhard, do you have Justice in your guard?
Yes, I do. It is the first ship that any fleet attacking encounters. It's set up in such a way that a lesser defender will get killed, especially if mudgluts are trying to beat on the Justice or anything close. So that kicks in the Berserker. Matter of fact, when I signed in after work today, I got hit by mudgluts. I don't know what the guy was thinking. He did 24% damage to my base. He did 9% damage to my Justice. He killed the Vanquisher like he was supposed to by my setup. Every one of his gluttonies took over 40% damage.
Nice.
Yeah, Justice is nasty, and that's only a single Justice.
That's because the muddles just are not a good weapon to have against those, not even a little.
So many cells.
Because the Merv, you know what I mean? Once that thing merves, you're screwed, because it'll, you're gonna get splashed from every single one of those things, and every single one, once Thorns is activated, is doing damage back, and that's a whole lot of damage all at once.
Approximately 70 points, just a little under. I think the exact number was like 68.4 points of damage per individual hit.
Well, it should be
very
25.
fast.
It should be 25 for each Merv.
25 plus the inherent 125% bonus per justice.
Was it in the Berserker? Or?
That's even without the Berserker. Berserker takes you to 300% bonus. But
I must be
yeah,
forgetting
I mean,
Justice.
I haven't built Justice yet, but in what we read about the ship, it should be good. And also, if you have, I think you need to have 2 because that will overlap and give you extra bonuses. Is that correct?
yes, with a second one, you get an additional 125% damage from thorns. Plus, if they're positioned where both are receiving splash, both are sending in close to 135 to 140 points of damage per hit, individual hit. I mean, that's the huge thing to think. The Justice was designed to stop mudgluts, point blank, and it does a hell of a job of it.
And the thing is, if you had 2 justices, it's probably gonna hit both of them if they're anywhere near each other. A lot of the Mervs are gonna hit both of them.
Exactly.
Does it have to hit both in order to have the effect? I didn't see that was clear.
No. If it only hits one, then that one will return the thorns damage. But if it hits both will return thorns damage at the 25 plus 250% bonus damage.
Okay.
And then let another ship die and both of them get hit. That's an additional 300% for each justice in thorns damage for the berserk. Yeah, it gets nasty very quick.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm looking at that bonus, and the bonus is, it says duration bonus 2.5 seconds and cooldowns 1.25 seconds.
Reduced, yeah.
How is that? Right, but how's that go with the 10 and 15 of the base thorns cooldown and duration?
By having the second, it adds that extra to the duration.
I'm talking about just having one in the fleet. You said the 175% applies to just having one in the fleet as well.
That's strictly the thorns damage bonus.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Popping up my blueprint again right quick.
Because there's a time section on that. Like I have to go back and look at my notes because I've been out of this for so long. I have to catch up on everything again.
Yeah. We say that the game is complicated, but the last few months with all this new stuff they added, that it's really
it's way complicated.
Yeah.
So I got a thorns duration.
This edition isn't helping things.
If they keep adding more.
I got it. Like I'm literally going to look up my bloody article now just so I can remind myself what the hell's going on because I'm just looking at this and going, oh crap, I can't remember.
I mean the big question: when are they going to release OP10 relative to the bounty?
OP10 should be between October and December. They haven't really come out with a date yet.
Yeah, and the bounty's going to come out sooner. I mean? And these look. It looks. I mean, on the surface, it looks like, with the deflections that are built into the hulls, it seems like every base is going to be, it's going to be tough to keep people out of your bases during the bounty.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the idea of it.
Yeah, but maybe.
Which basically goes back to the old premise: the more you coin, the more you win. You coin all your base hits and take care of everything.
Okay, so that 175 bonus is when you have a second justice in the fleet.
Well,
it's not inherent to the justice by itself.
Well, that would create an oddity since in that area it says bonus effect applies to each justice in the fleet. Duplicate aura cap of 5. Field effect is friendly. Affects ships.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm looking at it. I'm just saying that's. I'll ask again, but the way it was explained, when you have a second justice, it jumps from 25 to 68.75 damage per.
Yeah, and it doesn't say they have to both be hit within a certain range, does it?
No.
Just having the two, it's an inherent.
Yeah. That's what I thought. And you were saying it had to be in the range of both.
Because
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it
okay,
does.
so that makes sense. The duration bonus the duration gets increased by 2.5 seconds when you add another justice, and the cooldown gets cut down to gets cut down by 1.25 seconds. So I mean, if you want to test to see if it affects a single justice, I mean, watch it when it goes into thorns and then time it and see what the time actually is. Is it 15 and 10 or is it 12.5 and 13.75?
I've got
That's
two in
easy.
my base and have.
I've not taken the time to time that, but since
Well,
I
we
have
didn't-
one, it would
we didn't have
probably
a
be
Yeah, it wasn't a question before though, right? I
Problem.
mean,
just to
now we have a question.
that of mine and get accurate numbers out.
Yep. This is how we figure stuff out, which kind of, given how complicated the game has become, I don't know that we should be the ones that should be figuring this out. This is the stuff that we should just be told, right? It should be clarified for us.
Or I would really love it if we could get all the blueprints as a Excel spreadsheet, as opposed to having to go in there and key all this stuff in. If there was just a spreadsheet with everything in it that we knew was accurate, because it requires a spreadsheet at this point to figure everything out, and I'm not sure that's really what they're going for.
It's hard to tell. When you look at the blueprint now for Inquisitor and you see all the different stuff that's going to affect it in all ways, it's getting really complicated.
Yeah.
It was much easier for when you get the 50% reload.
But what I'm saying is we're in the middle of a show, right? And Brian has this question, and we go back and look at stuff, and it doesn't match. And now we're like, okay, so for us to find the answer, there's no place for us to go to actually get the answer. We have to actually test to find out what's applicable.
At our expense.
At our expense. And
Yeah.
then on top of it, if what I'm thinking is right, he has a point that because of the way the duplicate aura cap is stated, yeah, how are you going to get 5 if it's not applicable to itself?
I haven't got an answer on duplicate aura cap of 5 on the Bloodthirst. I don't understand it. I've asked and never got a response. If somebody knows better than me, I don't understand how this the Bloodthirst duplicate aura cap of 5. I mean, if it means that you can only get 5 ships to get the 20 stacks, that's okay. Go ahead.
I would say I always was under the presumption
because it doesn't
that
stack 5 times.
yeah,
Times,
that's what I mean.
Imagine, I mean, a penetrative damage of 1,000 if it actually stacks 5 times.
I
Plus
thought it meant that it was applicable to 5 other ships.
No, it's what impacts a single ship.
Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is that Bloodthirst, right? Like say the Liberator goes into Bloodthirst, right? And you have 5 ships in your fleet. All 5 are going to get that corrosive deflection.
My understanding is that's how many times a single ship can be impacted by a single quote-unquote aura.
Type.
There's no aura on a Bloodthirst.
Okay, so I have a question here. Doesn't the Inquisitor prove that when you put those 5 in there with a single aura cap, each one of them shares it one time?
I mean, I guess they need to put a better definition together because I'm
yeah.
underneath the impression how this impacts a single ship.
Well, I agree. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying. It's
The only
Go ahead.
the only thing I can figure out is it has to do with the stacking. I mean, like that you can only have 5 ships rate the 20 times stack. But I'm not certain. Or it's just unnecessary bullshit that's in there.
Well, I think part of that goes back to whenever you were thinking about the 20, that wasn't that 20 buildings to get a full stack?
Yeah, to get a full stack, yes. Correct.
Okay.
And also this kind of bloodthirst, that's different to the other kind of bloodthirst, because the other ships, not these 5, but other ships, they have when they drop armor point, they get this buff from bloodthirst. Isn't that correct?
Well, yeah, it's the rivals bloodthirst versus bloodthirst. The
Yeah.
bloodthirst only affects what the pride and the pride. I mean,
No, well, the rival's
And-
bloodthirst only impacts the ships that
Oh,
are listed right on the
that's
slide.
what I say.
here.
The rival bloodthirst affects rivals, which as of today there are 5. The other bloodthirst affects the other conqueror hulls.
Yeah,
The
but
tier 5.
I mean, the mechanics are different, because what is not rival, but you call it ordinary bloodthirst, those goes on the armor point, they drop, and then you get the bloodthirst. But then we're talking about this aura cap 5. Does that mean it will happen 5 times?
The thing you just described is called Overload or Berserk. That's not Bloodthirst. When you lose armor, you get a benefit.
Yeah, correct, Brian.
Let's take bloodthirst out of the equation for a moment, because that might be adding more complexity to it. Look at the mono. The mono has, even as just the standard mono, it has an ability that applies to all monos in the fleet, and a single mono is affected by its own aura, its own field.
Yeah, yes, we
But
know
be
this.
careful. Be careful, because it doesn't work on the gridiron that way.
That's why I specified only the mono. The gridiron is a different critter. That much I do know, and that's clarity for everybody else. Gridiron is a different critter. It's a different beast. It is not a normal mono. Completely different ship by kick-size code. That's probably the easiest way to describe it. It may have a similar name, but it's a completely different beast. So, but the point of it being that mono has an effect, an aura effect that stacks up to 5 times, and it affects itself. That's why I was equating the justice the same way, because it's listed on the blueprint the same way. Now, I know I'm talking logical here, and you got to calculate in math on it. So, but that's where I'm coming from on it. I'm not saying that I'm perfectly right. I'm saying by the information basically provided, putting 2 blueprints side by side with the same basic functionalities listed, it should function the same way. Doesn't mean it does. I'm just saying it should function the same way.
Wasn't there another thing that had something similar to this as a problem?
But as far as the duplicate aura cap,
Yeah, and like the it wasn't self-affecting.
well,
The Phoenix?
do you remember?
Yeah,
no,
well,
it
that's
was
true, but they corrected that after.
No, it was well, I mean, are you talking something besides the gridiron? George?
So the monolith is actually the one. I think the monolith is the one, because it has that. It's an aura of 4, not 5, right? And then the gridiron, I think it's the gridiron, yeah, because the gridiron doesn't.
Gridiron.
Yeah, the gridiron doesn't.
Self-activate when it should.
Right, because it's what the hell was it? The res cap wasn't activating.
Exactly. And I remember that video we did. I can make the res cap on the monolith work, or the gridiron monolith work, but only if I put in an ECM or something like that.
Right. I'm trying to remember what the grid actually says on it. Or I'm trying to.
It said
Hold on a
1.
second.
It said
Duplicate
the
aura
cap was 1.
Yeah. So who the hell knows what the duplicate aura cap means then? I mean, shit. Because at that point, it's like, okay, well, what? That's got a 1. The mono's got 4 instead of 5. Is that is that 1 missing from the mono the reason why the grid wasn't working? But then the grid should, I don't know, man.
Why do you think I was so pissed about after they made that
Oh,
adjustment?
no, I
Because it quit
understand.
working.
I understand. I know. I mean, that whole 2 days, changing shit 2 days before the raid, I'm still pissed off about. I still feel bad about, too. I mean, I don't know how many freaking people copied that build and got fucked because they changed it 2 days before the raid.
But yeah, the duplicate aura cap, I've asked to the right people. I didn't get a response as far as this duplicate aura cap of 5 on Bloodthirst. And I don't, I mean, it'd be nice if there was just like a quick little understanding of what it is, and then they can get rid of it because it's just confusing people. Personally, because it looks, if you just read this and didn't know any better, you would assume that if you had 5 ships of this type, all of these bonuses would be multiplied by 5.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Am I misremembering something? A nice word there. Where they finally admitted that it was
Yes,
a
Roger.
mistake when they made a mistake on the way the gridiron was implemented, but they were not going to go back and fix it. I think Rampage is the one that come out and said something about that.
Wait, which was? I'm sorry. Say that again.
Somebody from Kix came out and admitted that the implementation of the gridiron was wrong, but they weren't going to go out and fix it.
I think that was GDA on the BV show, and he said that they had messed up. It was more than just that. It was the mono. I think the icebreaker too.
Well, they
Because,
knew
like,
that.
I was mad about the icebreaker because the icebreaker in testing.
This
Like,
might have been the
I had-
summer state of the game.
I think it's the state of the game is where they admitted, hey, we screwed up. We know it.
They did that too.
well.
I didn't.
But see, they never want to address the screw ups. Are they afraid it's going to cost them too much? That raid series is over. Fix the damn boat.
They are so gun shy about changing stuff in the game because of the backlash from the community. Like, if they come out and go, hey, we messed up on, the mono, right? And we're going to change the mono next week to have, all that speed just inherent in the fleet, right? It's going to be native speed, and there's not going to be any more of that start stop bullshit, right?
Yep.
And everyone I know would love it, right?
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you that some people are going to flip their shit and cause a big ass stink, and that's what they're like trying to just avoid. Period.
Well, fuck them, they're idiots.
I mean, part of it. I mean, part of it's the damn community's fault because we can't. Like, there's other games that I've played, and they go, hey, this is too powerful. We're changing this. Hey, we screwed this up. We're gonna buff it, right? Sorry, you guys. Here's an extra prize or some shit, right? Like, other games do it, and people moan a little bit here and there once in a while, but not like this community, man. I mean, we are like, we love this game so much that we are just what's the word I'm looking for?
Fanatical.
Zealots.
That
Obsessed.
too.
Cult.
Passionate is the word. We are our community is an exceptionally passionate group. So, our blood runs high, man, all the time. And I don't know if Kickside doesn't quite realize that that's part of it. I don't know if, I don't know what it is, but yeah, I think the thing is they just don't want to do changes like that so far after the release. Because I would love to see the grid change, man. I would love to see the monos change. I would rather have that speed as a native speed, right? But the minute they do that, people are going to flip their shit and freak out, even though it's a good thing. Like, they can't win no matter what the fuck they do.
But what would be the main complaint, George? Why didn't you do this
I have
6 months ago?
no idea.
I think that's
Somebody would be like, "Oh, bait and switch." Someone else would be like, "Oh, you guys did it just to fuck us out of coins in the raid." And oh, you guys. I mean, there would be people coming out of the woodwork to bitch about something, anything, and it probably doesn't even have anything to do with the actual change itself. But they're gonna have 36 pages on the forums of people bitching and moaning and screaming and crying for blood because, oh my God, they went, hey, this is fucked up. To make your game more enjoyable, we're going to make it native speed. And, there's not going to be a, dude, you guys are awesome thread. It's going to be a, you motherfuckers screwed me in the raid. I mean, that's just how we are.
I don't know if that's how we always been. I mean, I'm not going to say too much, but I'm hoping things will mollify and change a bit in regards to that, because I don't know. I will get more into that in the after show.
I see that.
Maybe people could actually sack up and deal with it, but that's never going to happen.
But you know
Maybe
what I
they
would
should-
like. You know what I would like to know as a member of the community. I would like to know who's responsible for building what, so we can finally affix the numbers to who is. The reason why I say that is I'm sitting here right now in the middle of this Inquisitor campaign, and I'm using my Phoenixes. I've got 5 of them that are fully ranked, including the gut spill, and I'm using the Skyfire. And everything is working spot on, exactly the way it should. Even if there's a little hiccup of a raid, it works well. And we know that this is Raken's product, right?
Well, no, the Skyfire is.
Okay, but that happens to be what I'm using right now, and it's
Okay.
working perfectly. So
Working
what
good.
I'm saying is, let's give credit where credit is due. The man knows his stuff and does it when they let him do it his way. Because these boats are working perfectly the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, both the Phoenix and the Skyfire is working good in this.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
Yes.
And that's the first time. That's the first time in a long time that I can remember that product came out of the door working the way that it was supposed to.
So, I can't really speak to either of those things that much, but I will point out that whole aura cap thing with the Phoenix at the beginning, and y'all can put 2 and 2 together if you'd like, but I don't know that. Yeah, that's about
I'm not
all.
sure. I'm not
That's-
sure what
that's
you're
about
talking
all.
about.
Yeah, that's about all I can say. I'm not even going to say. It's working great now. I love the way that they're working now. Yes.
I have a question I was wondering earlier tonight because I was building my Survivor and I was putting on this cannon called the Penance. And I think that's the only, ballistic weapon that has no stats on the accuracy.
It's
What
got a
does-
splash. The accuracy doesn't matter.
Okay, because every other cannon has that accuracy in, but this one has no stats on it. So,
Yeah, there's a difference in on the new one. They actually gave it some accuracy stats, or the special gives it accuracy.
Which is funny because I don't know if it was just a simple oversight or if they're actually like understanding a little better how these things work or just be more honest. But it doesn't matter what accuracy stat it has. It just fires at a point and hits in the splash radius.
cool.
I remember hearing something. I wish that I had a memory recall like some people do, but I remember reading somewhere that was intentional, that they did that intentionally
I
to change the
honestly,
mechanic a little bit.
yeah, I honestly hope so because then it would, because people would think, and I feel like rightly so, that if something had accuracy and splash, that the accuracy stat, mattered to some extent, and it just doesn't. There's no reason, and taking that out would help. Although I find it awkward that all the stats we'd put on to boost the range also boost accuracy. So
Because if you see on the Quake cannon, that also has a splash of 10, but it has an accuracy of 60.
yeah, and the thing too, hitting buildings. It really weirded me out that the Quake cannon even has that because one, it has splash, so the accuracy is irrelevant. But two, like with the siege stuff, you're hitting buildings. You always hit buildings. You will never miss a building because of its evade, because it doesn't have any. It's a building. You hit it. So I never understood why the siege weapons with splash had accuracy for either of those reasons, but they do.
Some people just. Oh my goodness.
What?
Story time.
So Tool was running a fleet in the campaign, right? He was testing his Skyfire fleet in a campaign, and he posted up. He ran the first 4 prize packs back to back, no repair, no nothing. He used a demo squad, and he took like 3 hours and 15 minutes of damage, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of, it's the second rated hull, and he ran it back to back without repairing at all, and he ended up with 3 hours 15 minutes of damage for all 4 of the prize packs, right? And so then he decides, I'm gonna take it into mastery level 2 before I repair and see what happens. He comes out with 3 hours and 46 minutes of damage. Okay, so that's 8 coins. He ran from prize pack 1 through all of mastery, complete on 1 crew, and 8 coins of damage. And this guy starts giving him crap about because he finally put the build up. Everyone was crying for the build, and he puts it up, and this guy starts giving him crap about it. Oh, well, it sucks because it's got RA1 on it. Well, you can't put RA3 on the damn fucking flagship. I mean, what the fuck, right? And he starts just giving Tool a bunch of crap, and then starts giving me crap. And then I'm looking, and he's like, "Oh, well, my Phoenix fleet does da da da." I'm like, "Oh my fucking god, dude! We're talking about the fucking Skyfire fleet, for crying out loud. We're not comparing it to the fucking Phoenix. What the hell?"
Learn to recognize words. Learn to recognize words and also basic shapes. Like,
so we got 9s.
What the fuck?
He gotta go to the library and ask for their literacy section on how to read. No, we do. Well, we used to have a section at the library for literacy for adults.
All right.
I mean,
that just blows my mind. I mean, folks, come on. Like, and just like with anything else, especially when you're dealing with this game, especially with the complexity, like context. Context is everything. I mean, please, don't like. Well, I did this target and it gave me 16 hours of damage and da da da, and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. Well, what are you using the zealous and monoliths? No, I was using tide seekers. What? I mean,
context, noun. The circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or idea, and in terms of which it can be fully understood and assessed.
That's way too.
Or
the
parts of something.
We're here.
Huh?
I was just gonna say we're here to try and help, but I mean, y'all gotta let us help you sometimes. I mean,
that's way too complicated. Let's keep it simple. Taylor Swift put it best.
Oh God,
haters gonna hate. Okay.
I was waiting for Shake It Off, but
I gotta mute him. Hold on. He just quoted there. Oh, all right. Yeah. Okay. Timeout. Perrine, you're on timeout for 30 seconds, man. Taylor Swift.
Context, other definition, the parts of something written or spoken that immediately precede and follow a word or passage that clarify its meaning. I'm sorry. Those are the first 2 definitions of context that I put up when I Googled context definition, because this faith I have in the intelligence. Well, if they're watching this show, they probably know what they're doing. If you're watching the show live, you probably already know. And, good on you, go out. Good luck, have fun. I think it's great that the guy got under 4 hours of damage through 5 runs straight. Really good. Good job, Tool.
Tool knows he knows how to build his shit. I mean, and like, I mean, the first thing the guy was like, "Oh, your build sucks. You're using RA1." Oh my God, you can't put anything else on. Why are you saying that?
RA1?
Yeah.
Well,
The guts
no, because
the
armor,
lead flag.
On the gut flag, you can't use RA3.
Can't?
No, man.
So
It's got 100-something armor points.
It's got like 100,000 armor, and so I forget what the multiplier is. It's not the same as putting plates on, but
PSA to everybody. Each ton or each armor point is a quarter ton of invisible weight that you can't see. Each armor point is 1/4 ton. So that 140,000 is 140,000 divided by 4 tons.
Oh,
so that's 35,000 tons of armor weight that you can't see. But when you put on like the RA specials, it's going to calculate based off of that 35,000 plus the actual armors that you put on. So RA3 that gives you 13% armor weight or whatever. Like, it's massive weight. It's huge. That's why, because people were complaining, why can't I put MX3 on my Conquerors? One, that's pointless. Don't do that. What the heck? And 2, that armor carries weight that you can't see, but it's there.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So So the gut
The
spill
same thing that happened when
Skyfire has so much armor that it can't put
Yeah,
this on.
if you look on the side in the chat in our chat, there's I put the link to the build, to his build in there, and you can see what in the rest of me has RA3, but in the first one he's got RA1, but the resistances are the same.
Yeah, because if you remember, Daniel, remember what happened when they upped the armor? Was on the Tiger Shark or the Hellwraith? The Hellwraith, right?
The Hellwraiths, yep.
Tiger Shark.
Yeah, the
Tiger
Hellwraith.
Shark.
Was it the Tiger Shark that went overweight? I thought it was the Hellwraith that went overweight.
The Tiger Shark went surprise overweight.
Yeah, it's because they changed it, and then everybody's fleets went overweight at one point because it was the inherent armor on the ship. It's a little bit.
And they couldn't refit them away. That was terrifying.
Yeah.
they
First they had to scrap them in order.
That was crazy. But I mean, they both, the missile defense is 94.7% on both of these things. I mean,
and that's
before you start shitting on someone's build, I mean, at least understand it first.
Yeah, that's why that's why the inherent resist on the Skyfire or the gut spill are so high.
Yep.
Like they knew.
I didn't even
This
know
is the fleet.
I didn't even know that the Skyfire, the gut spill Skyfire, had so much armor points.
That's the whole point behind it.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay.
But I didn't know it was so many.
I thought they threw an extra 0 in. I'll be honest.
I know.
It's a healing ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And it's got a great, what is it, a 0.08 repair efficiency. It's got a great repair efficiency. That's why, if you want to run it with everything else, pile your charge armors on that. You don't want to ruin the repair efficiency, at least in my mind. Because I had people wanting to put the D5s on it. I'm like, don't put the D5s on it, because now you're going to just ruin the repair efficiency of that ship, and you're going to ruin what it's doing. Just load it up with charged armors, or just leave them off. Just leave off armor slots, because you're going to ruin the intent of that ship by adding in big, because it's a 0.8 versus like 0.06, or it's basically 100 times. Or no, 10. Yeah, it's a huge difference. It's 10 times the repair for adding those plates on. So
I haven't looked at it that extensively.
Okay.
A surprise to me right now.
Well, I have to be honest. I actually have a reactor panel 3 on mine. So
Okay, nothing else.
yeah, I have something else, but
Well, somebody's in line for a refit.
yeah, but as I said earlier, there's a shitload to understand and then get into, and of course I've been playing this game since the beginning, and it often happened that I maybe built a bit wrong and I have to refit. That's how the game is.
I guess kind of a simplified way of describing it. When you look at the Skyfire, it has about 25,000 base health. Your gut spill has 140,000, yet they repair in the exact same amount of time. That is an incredible repair factor on the gut spill.
Yeah.
And it repairs any type of fleet?
Only Skyfire.
Yeah, only Skyfire.
Oh, that's
Yeah, come
horrible.
on, man. I mean, look at who's on this panel. Look who's on this panel, and you're telling me that that wasn't. Yeah, come on.
I mean, because we know the gluttony for the first 36, 48 hours was repairing everything.
No comment.
Well, me. Videos on that one.
Do I? Okay. Well, perhaps I may have known. I don't know.
Because I was doubting it, and then we stopped your. Yeah. We made videos on YouTube.
Fuck,
And then it changed
use
it
that-
afterwards.
You can use that to repair like the cannoneers or the.
Yeah, that's what I
Or-
did. Yeah, as a matter of fact. It was-
The cannoneers are Apollos. I can't remember what.
No, I was beating the shit out of my cannoneers, and I repaired the cannoneers with them. That was fun. I don't break nothing, man. I'm telling you. I find undocumented, special effects.
That was me.
You
That was-
find
was-
things
Was that
that
you?
are
That was you that did
broken.
it? Oh yeah, that's right. Because I hadn't gotten home. That's right. You told me to go and try it, and then I just went nuts.
You find things that are broken. Like you didn't break them. They existed that way.
Yeah,
I think I've only. I mean, honestly, I think I've only broken a couple of things, and all of them have been in the test environment. I don't know that I've actually broke anything in the game like live. I don't think. Did I? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
If I did,
know,
I'm not
and
going to
there were a
admit
lot of
to it.
things
How's
that
that?
There's a lot of things we reached out and
Figured out. Yeah.
before it would be like the
range.
the
Yeah.
113 range or what was it?
Oh boy.
Oh well, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. But what does everybody think about what's going on here with the Voltron movement? As far as we assume this bounty thing is going to come out, and it looks like everybody's going to need base improvements based on what we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm hoping
probably
that
makes a
we'll
lot-
see. I'm
probably
hoping we
makes a-
see something in the raid.
I was wondering.
like a defensive haul.
Man, a defensive hull or a new turret, or I mean something. Because holy crap, if this gets into someone's hands that can actually use them to their full potential, holy shit.
What would they have to do? Because this fleet is inherently powerful because it is a mix of 5 different types of damage and so many different kinds of bonuses and buffs. I mean, it's a jack of all trades, but that's a lot of trades. One thing isn't going to stop that by itself.
Yeah, and the new radioactive turret hasn't been impressive. Radioactive and ballistic appear to be the weaknesses. But
Mine won't fire because of all that dust it's collected.
yes. You can't hit Brian's base because it's covered with a layer of dust.
No, I mean the phlogiston launcher won't fire because of the dust it's collected.
Okay.
I keep my stuff in working order with the base defense campaign.
Okay. All right. Just making sure that, there wasn't a layer of dust covering everything that was, at least providing at least 30% damage resistance.
No, it's the shroud effect. You can't target any of my stuff ever.
Okay. All right.
Well, at least it's not the bubble effect where you buy one for 30 days and then buy another one right after it pops.
That's a sad life, although I can see some new level 50s thinking that might be the only way out, and that's unfortunate.
I don't know. With some of the 70s, 80s, and 90s I've been hitting lately, they may be considering that too.
Does anybody remember when the Phoenix came out?
Final raid of
June?
of the last cycle.
So June.
Mid-June.
So we've had it June, July. So we've had it a month.
Month and a half.
6
Month and a
weeks,
half? Yeah,
roughly.
month and a half. Okay.
Well, the radio says that Doom Rooster and Master Rampage or Major Rampage are bringing the fun back.
Good. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Make BP great again.
Yeah.
Before 2020, because then it's all gone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Oh, that's true.
I mean,
we never, No one's talking about that.
At the end of the day, no, well, I mean, the way I see it
No.
is the fact that, okay, well, if they don't update Flash anymore, then there's going to be less fuck ups when Kixeye doesn't update or Flash doesn't update. So yeah, you may have, you know, people from foreign countries getting your credit card information, but at least the game should go a lot smoother at that point when Flash isn't updating.
Because Kixeye's not fucking around with the code.
Well, the fact that they don't have to adapt to the change in the code that's going on. So I don't know. I'm not that. My expertise is not in that field, but that's at least my initial reaction.
That's where you no longer put credit cards on Facebook. You just get the prepaid credit cards or prepaid cards only.
Yeah. Or at that point they probably won't be expecting coin. Just send nude selfies to whoever, and they'll repair your base.
My nude selfies are worth way more than $10.
Well, okay. Well, I didn't ask what that you were trying to repair or build, Brian. If they may increase the build times just for that.
They may increase the going rate.
Because now you're gonna have 30-day blank flagship builds because of that, Brian. Think of the ramifications of what you just said.
The 6-day crossbow's coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, and once you put 10 of those on a ship, yeah, then it might be worth it. So no thoughts on that, Brian?
I'm not sorry, but we're kind of done with that.
All right. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people that are watching or were watching would probably like to know what everybody thinks about the new hall. And then, I try to provide information as far as like the other impacts that has on the hall. I mean, I brought up, one idea that you can put muddle gluts on that. I mean, the other ones are the rays and the scatter guns. Like, how do you guys think that should be used?
What about concussives? Like I was thinking, like, bring back the old revenge gun.
Yeah, but if you take a look at the revenge, I think it had like plus 300% concussive damage, and it needs to go through walls.
I'm thinking maybe as a defense, if you put an Inquisitor in your defense, maybe mod is a good thing to go. But offensive, if you're going to hit other bases, maybe the corrosive, the ruin, scattergun, and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm thinking ruin scatter too. I'm gonna go and see if I'm stupid or if is.
I say make a blitzer out of it and figure out how to get some evade onto that bitch and fly it inside with some mayhems on it. There you go. Have fun.
Okay, or all Siege V mortars. Add plus 10% combat speed on the whole thing and just get it to the back of the base and then target off of that. Because you probably get it up to about 90 combat speed.
I think you just build this. I think you just build this like a like a pride. It's got its own res cap bore, so you can even throw that in if you want to.
Yeah, I don't trust.
But if not, I'm sure that
the reason I immediately
I didn't siege battery will do just fine.
Brian, the reason I didn't initially go with a Pride build is because the Pride has plus 20% scattergun range. And this doesn't.
Yeah,
have that.
but I mean,
Right, but you got
what else?
what else you got? I mean, you
Yeah, I
don't-
mean, what
you're not-
else?
You don't
But what
have
else are you
any more
gonna
range.
do? Like all the other weapons are a year old and their damage is.
That's why I threw out, with some of the slots, I was trying to throw out the muddle missile.
You could throw on the D100V. I mean, have at it.
I think the model missile would be the the best option there. Hey,
Yeah, but
Oh,
then
look.
a justice will stop you dead in your tracks.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
big
if they
thing.
have a justice, and because remember you got 5 ships now. Maybe you prep out the justice with something that does
that's right.
100 damage per,
I'm.
and then this comes in after that you killed out the justices. And I was
Yeah.
wondering what their strategy is here.
Nope, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. I thought that I thought the muddle missile was like the countermeasure thing where it had to be specific underwater and countermeasure.
Mm-mm.
No,
No,
Okay.
I almost stated
You
that
were
earlier.
on the show at that point, Brian.
Yes, I was, and I was going to look it up, and then I kept getting distracted. I had to go read the definition of context to people.
I see. My goodness. Yeah, so I'm not sure how it's supposed to be built.
can you put the countermeasure on it? The underwater countermeasure?
Because it's
No,
Yeah.
you cannot.
According to chat, somebody's building. I'm building mine with super soakers with a hooker squirt special.
Nice.
With a golden
Yeah.
gunboat lead?
That's a possibility.
Maybe it's the pink Punisher that's leading it. I don't know.
Maybe it's a weapon that we haven't yet seen. There.
where is that thing? Oh, no,
Yeah,
no.
but we
What
haven't
was the
seen
combat speed?
additional
Let me see
weapons
this.
thrown out for this one yet.
so
I mean, the
Hefe,
series, the rivals. Go
yeah,
ahead.
your D100V, right, with Speed System 5 and just the D100Vs on it comes out to 64 combat speed.
What about the What about Magnus 2s on it?
Swap that out for
Well,
a
the turn
Mag 2.
speed- the turn
Yeah, the turn
speed
speed. You need the turn speed when you're going that fast, man. But let me see. Mag 2 gets you to 70. But your turn speed's 35, so go back to Speed System 5.
It
Oh,
goes so fast, but it doesn't have turn speed, so it will just crash into the landmarks all the time.
Yeah, I mean, even with Speed System 5, you're at 64 for combat speed and 65 for turn speed. I mean, that's gonna be tight.
But when we're talking about defense and trying to protect our bases, I think that maybe if they can release some more viable turrets before they upgrade the turrets itself, the platforms, because they have a good health, but if they can release some good defense turrets, because most of what we have today, they don't scratch the fleet so much.
well, but how would they do that? Like, how would they give stronger fleets than this without also making it more power, basically out of necessity? Like,
Yeah.
that's all OP10 stuff.
Well, the other thing is too is if they start actually tossing out stuff that we have to build in our bases, they're going to find out just how much we really don't like getting base parts anymore. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know anybody that actually goes out and does base parts anymore because it's such a pain in the ass.
Well,
Yeah,
make
it's not
make one
fun.
make one mistake in the 103 and lose a fleet. I mean,
Yep.
and we're talking a tenth of a second.
And also, you lose control if it's happened to me like 3 times already, where in the 99 I would lose control and the fleet would just sit there and let the big tower just pound on it.
I don't even mess with the 99s.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
happened to me like 3 times before, and I just don't hit them anymore. Those targets anymore.
Yeah, no one wants to hit them because and that's the thing is we've invested in these hulls, right? We went out of our way, got the top tier stuff, refit all our crap, got it running right, and we're supposed to have an easy time of it once we hit end game level, right? Like we're supposed to be able to auto this shit because it's a chore, right? I don't want to see fucking blitz option. I want to see auto option because you know what? I put all my time and money in this damn thing. I got the damn top tier shit. I played the damn thing at the top level for you, to do all this shit for you guys and or for Kixeye, whatever. And the what I get back for that time and effort investment is, well, if you mess up, you lose your fleet. Fuck you. That's great. Awesome. Guess what I'm not doing?
Agree.
I mean, that's not throwing out. If I see blitz options coming, I'm telling you what, I'm gonna be flipping motherfucking tables.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying from like the beginning of all this, is that they shouldn't mess with our chore fleet targets. They should just do the raid targets, and we'll have just the powerful fleet to be able to auto the older chore targets. The chore targets should be easy enough that you just, without having to mind anything, just click on it or whatever. Like the old mines.
If you have invested to get the top tier stuff, because let's be honest, right? Every 3 months you have to have a top tier thing built. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to take a month to 2 months worth of build time in your shipyard to build, maybe 3 if you're going to build both of them, right? To build the top tier stuff so you can participate in TLCs and do chores and all this other crap. But the point of getting the damn thing early and paying the extra money for it, right, was to be ready for the raids and to have something so your life is easy in terms of chores after the raid set, right? So 4 times a year, I'm giving up a month to 2 months to build the top tier stuff, and then you're going to throw stuff on the map that sometimes isn't even from the fucking raid, and is so punitive that if you mess up one little bit, you're fucked. No, that is not a good template to follow. Not even close. That is a huge error.
Yeah, and you also get the bigger
also
delay,
buggy.
because as you say that you are top
Yeah.
tier player, and
They're very buggy.
and if you cannot, if we or the people that are at the top of the chain,
Internet's fine. CRISPR.
Robot.
Which is, yeah, like everything just went wonky on.
Silence.
Whose mics went, like somebody's mics went wonky.
That
Not
was
sure.
Brian.
Was it Brian or Northman? I thought Northman was trying to talk.
Northman was talking
Yeah.
fine, but Brian kind of walked over the top of it.
Oh, okay. Well, Northman, you want to repeat that? Because I kind of lost the entire thing because
Yeah.
it just went completely wonky.
yeah. Oh, you can hear me now.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you now.
I was just saying that some of players are top tier. We have all the good shit, but if it costs us coin or it's hard to get the basic stuff, like George said, with the base part, that means that the mid-level or lower level, they have much more problem to get this necessity to improve in the game, and that means you get the big.
There goes Brian again.
Now his mic is messing up.
He needs to refresh.
Chores shouldn't change. Honestly, it's fine that the raids are all skill based and all that stuff, and that's kind of cool. That's cool, but the chores should stay always the same. At least keep them the same for at least for
It's
some
not-
time.
look, but here's the thing: is it's not only keeping them the same, right? Like Northman was saying, the lower levels and the mid levels and the people that are trying to catch up, right, now have things on the map that we're having difficulty with the top tier shit, right? So that leads to a huge gap in the player base, and you're doing this every friggin' 4 months or every 3 months, right? You're doing this every 3 months, and it's each individual aspect of the game is starting to have these gaps, and it's adding up. I mean, it's building, and I don't know that, we've tried to explain to them, like, it's not one thing that is really annoying the player base per se, right? It's the cumulative effect of all of it, and it's not getting better, it's getting worse because of this. And then the solution is not to fucking add a blitz to these targets, for crying out loud. The solution is to make the targets able to be done on
Doable.
auto for the top tier players. That way, the players that are in the middle and lower can actually struggle through it without getting ass fucked every time. You know,
Agreed, 100%.
and Berean, like, is he here? I've not heard him.
I've been on mute. I've
Oh.
been listening because y'all are sharing some great info.
I hadn't heard you. I'm like, shit. Does he know that? Like, I can't unmute him. I'm like, damn it. I was like, shit. I should have said something. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, that gap is getting worse, and the worse it gets, the less people are going to want to play, and the less people want to play. You know, we're already seeing issues with PvP.
I've actually heard someone say they hit 10 level 70 and higher bases, and all 10 of them were totally dead. So they've got some higher players even leaving the game.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, who wants to do the shit? Like, I don't. I've had like the last month and a half, right? I've had very, 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 very limited time to play the game. Okay, I haven't been able to finish some TLCs. I haven't done a single damn chore except for the FM. That's the only thing I get on, and I make sure I do. And the problem is if I have any extra time, my ass is not going to be doing fucking base parts. You know, I don't want to waste time going to try and get some fucking uranium because I want to go and hit something, or I want to do something, or I want to do one of the TLCs that I have. I mean, the time, I mean, they have to stop and look and see and understand exactly what they're asking their player base to do. What exactly do you want your player base to be doing in terms of playing your game? Because it's your game, we're playing it, and you're making it hard for us to want to play it because it's starting to not be playing it, it's starting to be, well, work.
Yeah, but
you know,
but you have criticism with individual parts of it, right? I mean, as far
I can criticize everything and I can justify everything. I mean, I see both sides of all of it. And that's why I'm saying, like, you know, when you're really close to a subject, right? If your subject matter is first person, and you know you're in the fishbowl per se, right? As opposed to being outside the fishbowl looking in. And a lot of times when you're in that type of situation, you know what your plan is for this or that. You know what the justification is, and individually, I can understand. I can actually make an argument for all of this stuff on an individual basis. Okay? Like I can understand what their justifications are for each of these sections, each of the targets, like all the stuff I understand. But I also see it from the other side, and then I also take a step back and try and look at the whole damn big ass picture. And when you do that, that's when you see what's wrong.
I think that when you see at the game now, and I reckon most of us on this panel now, we have been playing for many, many years. And you know, before, when you got home from work, the first thing you did was to load up your game. Have you been hit? Did your base kick ass, or you got leveled? You know, that was the excitement. And now they actually going to put out this bounty because they want PvP back to the game. That's just bullshit. I think that, you know, there are 5 worlds, 500 sectors. Why not just take away 200 sectors, take it down to 300? Because I jump every week and there are so many dead sectors. There are so much shit floating around in the sectors that if you actually put down the amount of where you can go, and many players, you know, I was born in 100, I'm going to be here for 10 years, I don't want to move. And if anyone invades me, I'm going to do everything I can to stop them. But if you, in a way, mess up that, you say, okay, now we're just going to have 300 sectors. That's it. And everybody in 400 and 500, they will be just relocated to another sector. That will stir shit up. Then you can get some PvP back, and you don't need bounty to get PvP back. Is my opinion.
But you know what? PvP is more than that. PvP is too damn expensive for what you get. You have to build too much stuff. You don't have the time if you're going to stay current with the FM.
I agree.
Man, let me ask, how long does it take for a Marauder to repair?
Who knows?
Like, I'm serious. A Marauder, how long does it take to repair?
I don't
It's
I don't
know.
know, 12 minutes. I don't know.
I think it's like
12
2
minutes. So
I have no idea. I'm just
2
making
minutes.
that
Well, say
up.
10 minutes. Say 10 minutes, right? A fleet of 5 of them is 50 minutes. It's an hour, right? How many times back in the day did we have, like 50, 60 fleets on one side and another 50, 60 fleets on another going back and forth between sectors, battling fleet versus fleet? Because you know why? It was an hour to fucking repair, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It was fun.
Now things are so specialized. I mean, hell, if they're going to specialize it and bring back that aspect of the game, might as well make a fleet versus fleet section now, and that's the only one that can hit on the map. I mean, I don't know, man. It's
But back in the good old days, I mean, if you recall, I was born in Sector 1 and da 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 da. But for me to actually go hit a base in Sector 3,
it took an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was 40
Yeah, I remember.
map travel each way.
Man, I remember. Look,
then
I
hit the
remember
base.
setting the timer on a clock, right? Because I'd click to where I want to go hit for a base, right? It was like an hour and 58 minutes, right? I'd be like an hour and 55 minutes, right? Turn to set the timer so it'll go off, and an hour and 55 minutes. I'd refresh the game, get on, hit the base, and then drive home. I mean, I mean, shit. And then you set the timer again so you can get into your base and start repairing, right? I mean, that's
It was fun. And when you travel for, like you said, 158 or whatnot, and actually you loaded the game up maybe after 1 hour, and suddenly the black water, that was the days, and suddenly, wow, there's a base I can hit, and you can stop and you can hit that and then go back home. You didn't have to travel 2 hours. It was enough with 1 hour.
Yeah, but those cross-border skirmishes used to be so much fun where you'd had, like George said, 30, 40, 50 players on each side just ransacking bases, hitting fleets that got caught. I mean, that was when the game was really fun.
Yeah.
And it didn't cost a freaking arm and a leg to fix it.
Oh.
If you wanted to be a corner, 60 cents and, 70 cents and you were done.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen until they get, I mean, they could make it happen and go, okay, like all conquerors, half an hour repair. We don't give a shit what army you put on it or whatever. Half hour repair. Fuck, 15 minutes repair. Great. And people start coining that shit again and start hitting fleets, right?
Absolutely.
Or hitting bases. People aren't going to hit fleets now because there's so many specialized fleets out there. You're not going to be able to get that part back. Like I don't think that's ever coming back into the game.
Head on head with floating fortress.
Yeah,
But George, one of the things I brought up several times, as far as getting some players, as far as getting involved in player versus player stuff, is the ramifications when the person hits you back, even if they fail miserably on your base.
Right.
Your level 8 turrets, maybe you're upgrading them or whatnot. It's going to take 8,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. All that stuff. Yeah. All that plays into it. I mean, all that plays into it. And, part of it, I think part of it is because, we don't have the same volume of players that we did, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Right. Do I think that they can get them back? Last year, I really thought they were at a point where I could start recommending the game again. I mean, it was good. Now, I mean, it really has gotten very complex in a very short span of time, and I can see what they're trying to do, right? I see the idea and the theory behind both sets of Conqueror fleets and stuff, but we're not in the same spot that we were in, like, say, September of last year, right? Because if they had taken advantage of that positioning and actually started trying to really get players back, like new fresh players as well as old players, I think it would have increased their overall volume, and I think people would have stayed if they could have kept it going the way that they did last year. And I'm not sure if it's just the content. I don't know if it's the complexity. I don't know what it is, but it's like this year has been tumultuous at best.
Well, I
mean,
the game developers only fuck up occasionally, and they fucked up a bunch during the whole, garrison thing. Between the charged armors and the flip flop on the charged armors, and then the accelerate function on the monolith, there was a lot of things that made the game not that fun to play.
Yep, that's
At
true.
that point in time, you know,
It was
I
a
don't
bad.
know.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
don't
was
know
a
what to
bad
say on that.
transition. Yeah, no, it was a bad transition. I mean, like I said, this year has been tumultuous at best. That's the best I can probably call it. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is that caused it. I think it's again one of those things where it's just a lot of little things that cumulatively added up to blah. You know.
I
Well,
think
but
the game has gone wrong when a player needs to get 300-400 million points.
That's yeah. Now that pisses me off. I have a huge problem with that because,
That's
like I, they keep on going. Oh well, you don't need to buy them. You don't need to have all those charge arms. You don't need this. But here's the thing.
you don't get it, you're
I've
screwed.
tried. Like I've tried to get to where I am in the game in terms of at least of PVE. Right. I'm at the topish tier level area of PVE. Right. And I've concentrated really hard and worked really hard to get there. I expect from years of doing this to be able to get all the shit that I want in a raid if I am at this level of the game when the raid comes around. I do not expect to have to grind my ass for 4 days to get the damn points that I want to have the stuff that I want. Because you know what? At this level of play, you get what you want.
Yeah.
It's not a need thing. A need thing is when I'm a low and mid-level player. I need to get something to better my game, right?
And also when you see the last raid, what was it they wanted for agility for? Was it 6 or 8 million a pop?
I don't know. Yeah, that was
For what? For what, Northman?
Agility.
agility 4.
Yeah, it was 4.5 or something ridiculous. Yeah,
And it was like
crazy.
and it was
You
like,
had to get it
yeah.
in the first couple of minutes, and
And it was a million. It was a million the raid before or something, right?
yeah.
I mean, I just.
But
the
but
thing
I think
is,
a lot of I think a lot of what was going on before, there was a lot of cooperative play, and I think if they take a different look at how co-op should work, I think it would bring back a lot of because there's a lot of it's a social game, in some ways, and if they bring back certain aspects of that, I think you'll get players back, as far as how exactly is everybody supposed to do it? Because it's more fun to do the targets if it's properly tuned to do it with multiple, like 2 players. Like we're talking da da da. We'll both hit it. Not like, okay, I'll go take out the nasty shit and then you go deal with the rest of it. But if it was more tuned towards not all the targets, but certain targets. I'm not saying it should be done across the board, but the ability for like players to are you following me? Players to work together in a constructive manner and build.
Well, I think that's what they tried. I think that's what the whole idea with the mega hull or the Hyperion was supposed to be.
Okay.
I mean, that was supposed to engender, cooperative play within your alliance.
Within your alliance, but the alliance thing has never been really put. That's never been done well.
Yeah, I mean, look. Here's the thing. I don't want to seem like I'm shitting all over this. There's been a lot of good stuff in the game. Like I know that they busted their ass getting these targets for this raid series right. So like they didn't have repeat errors and all that other crap. They busted their ass on the design of the fleets. I mean, there's good stuff that's coming out, right? And like I said, I can justify a lot of the stuff individually. I can understand just about every angle of each one individually. It's when you take a look at the whole thing that it starts falling apart. Like we should have more co-op in the raids. I mean, honestly, yeah. It shouldn't, like, I know there's a whole thing like, people that merc and people hate mercs and mercs should go to hell because we ruin the game. And well, fuck, I don't give a shit. I fucking merc.
But Before,
Are
should-
people still
but it
marking or no?
Huh?
Are people still marking or no?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Shit tons.
I haven't heard
I mean,
about it in a while. I just thought
the
it
catch-
went away.
No. I mean, people are still marking. It's just that a lot of people, because of the amount of points that you need in the raids, a lot of us just aren't doing much anymore. Like before, I would merc, starting Friday and go through Sunday, right? But now it's like, fuck, I'm playing until Sunday just to try and get the points that I need.
Exactly.
I don't got time for anybody else. And the co-op thing started, I think, really, really well in Base Invaders 3. I want to say is when I saw a lot of people going in and doing. Was it Base Invaders 3?
I think it was one of the original Base Invaders, because I don't know if it was 3, but it was one of the Base Invaders because
we were doing
Well,
we were doing the Barracudas, right? Someone would go with the Barracudas,
well,
have the turrets.
I was using
shoot the
stalkers.
Barracudas.
We were using stalkers as far as but because you would use a sub to
Yeah. And the guy behind you would kill the turrets and all this shit. I mean, and it was really fun because you everyone was helping everybody else. It wasn't murking. It was people actually playing the targets together, right?
Yeah.
And it's more fun.
Before, the players that were high level, I've been that all the way. But as George said earlier, I'm a top player. I want to get my shit fast, and we did that before. And
we were done in a couple hours.
Yeah, and then we can actually help our alliance. We can start prepping, and we could do it fairly cheap prepping, and we can get our lower levels to get maybe a good ship, a good special, a good turret, and whatever. That was no problem. But today, as I said earlier, 300, 400 million points.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And even for us, how good we build a ship, it will also cost us some coins anyway. And then again, why should I try to, in a way, use many hours to help lower? Because the payout they get is not that much as it was before. And that means after you got yourself 300 points, million points, and then you have to help a teammate to maybe get 80, 90. That's actually a lot of time to get that.
You know what it reminds me of is again, going back to Base Invaders, at the beginning of the raid, because it was a co-op target, like anyone could hop into a target, right? Well, I sank people that jumped into mine. At the beginning of the raid, I would sink the shit out of anybody that came into my target. I don't give a crap. Unless you turn around and went into a corner, I would sink your ass after the target because I wanted my raid points, I wanted to get done, and then I help people in my alliance and in my sector, right? But I mean, now it's to the point where it feels like, hey, you know what? These targets are mine. Get away from me. I don't want to help anybody. I need these points. I need these targets. It's just,
it's too much.
You can't even have 2 in a target anymore either. So
yeah, that's true too. That would be fun again. I really think that co-op part thing would be fun again. Like get
and
co-op
also
targets.
that could be something. It's battle pirate. If one person wants to be a pirate and sneak in. One that's not in the alliance trying to catch some point. So what? He's a pirate, goddammit.
Yeah, and they can get sunk. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, but even trying to help somebody, I mean, it's difficult.
And where's Emery? I mean, I know people have been hunting him for friggin' months.
Well, I've kind of always, I've held an opinion, and a lot of people don't like it, but I want to share it anyways.
Is George going to mute you again?
He's a gluttony for punishment, isn't he?
Well, they're talking about wanting to make PvP. They want to trigger player versus player and bring that back up in the scale again. And one of the things that tends to trigger that is alliances. Now, believe it or not, this connects. I'm not ninesing anybody. This connects. Just give me a second. Okay.
That's awesome.
You've been 9.
So how do we get people to join alliances? Well, here is an opinion. It may not be the best opinion, but this is my opinion. This is my take. This is, hey, we have a problem. Here's a possible solution. allow alliances to co-op with fellow alliance members, even if you
Yeah.
can't normally co-op. I know the coding would be hard. I'm just throwing an idea out there.
Well,
That
actually,
would
it's not that hard.
encourage more people alliances, thus, helping to potentially boost the player versus player side of it, because more people are in alliances now.
They've had that before, and they cut it out for some reason.
Yeah,
Well,
but I mean,
bring it
yeah, just the whole co-op, being able to co-op a target, I think needs to start happening more often, just so, because look, you can bring in, and not only just your alliance mates, but you can bring in people, especially people that are trying to learn stuff, and
Yep.
show them, hey, this is how I'm doing this. This is like trying to explain what I do in that 113 next to that cold snap on the left. I just can't. Apparently, I just can't explain it. But if you're there watching as I'm doing it and I'm speaking, and maybe Damnation was right. I got to maybe do a video and talk over whatever the fuck it's called, voice over the damn thing. But it's much easier for me to show them if they're there, right? And I mean, I know that they can view it. That's awesome, but that's not the point. Co-op needs to be back into the game a lot.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things of this game is the community and the friends that you make and the people that you talk to every day. And you know what? Build on that. Don't take advantage of that. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Don't try and monetize it or take advantage of it in any way. You want to build on it. And you can monetize off of building on it, but don't take advantage of that core part of it. You want to support it and build it, and then let the tree drop its fruits,
George, on instructional type videos, I 100% support the verbal walkthrough.
Yeah, Damnation pulled me aside. Yeah, he pulled me aside one time and was like, yeah, man, like some people just don't like the stills, and the way that I write just it doesn't click for them. They're more, they're more visual.
But like if you're showing something or you did a video and we're watching the video and in the background you got the music going, and we're watching it, but there's another individual that does some videos that I can say his name, but I want to
go ahead, man. We don't care.
Well, it's Drizzt.
Yeah. Okay.
And he walks through exactly what he's doing and showing you, you stop here, you wait for this long, this is what's happening, then you want to turn and park your ship over here and wait till the I'm talking about a grid now, wait till the wall pops up here, and then you want to send your ship there, and then he does it like slow motion or just normal motion one time, and then he says, okay, now I'm just going to do it. I personally learn a lot more than just watching the video. Watching a video
walkthrough, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have to figure out how to do it. I don't know how to do it, but
okay.
I'll try. I mean, I'm going to try with that 113 thing, because I've had, I don't know how many people message me asking. I'm like, I got to do it. I mean, people apparently would like to see it. I just don't know how to do a fucking voiceover yet. So, I'll figure it out.
And just to lead on to that one, Rum was on one time on an after show, and we were talking about the 113. He was trying to explain it, and then he was doing it live and telling us what he was doing, and I learned how to do it from there. And unless I really screw up, I have no problem with 113. None. So there's a lot to be said for voiceovers, I think, and I'll be quiet.
I also play a war commander. I'm a high level also there, and actually, what they have there, if you kill 5 bases every week, like you do here in Battle Pirate, and also you got something called infamy, and that's something medals like in Battle Pirate. But every week you get medals in a way. You get 50,000, 70,000, 100,000. You can get max up to 1 million medals. But we have something we can go in and we can pick out a weapon, a ship, a special. We get rewarded for hitting the bases because we get the payout, and we can go in and choose a prize That is good.
Yeah.
Actually, to boost these alliances, maybe could be a way to go also in Battle Power.
I mean, over there, what they got going is, I have a war commander count as well, and I haven't played in years, and I keep on getting the same. Your base is getting attacked. Your base is getting attacked every single week, and I haven't logged on in years.
But it's auto repairing in the War Commander.
Yeah, so dead bases actually you could attack dead bases that haven't been updated for years. So it's like it's not the same.
And in a way, because if you're an active player, also here in Battle Park, it's not fun. What most people do is my impression. Every Monday, it's reset. They go out and they hit like 5 almost freebies just to get the 1,000 Lions point. Okay, that's okay. But in War Commander, in that sense, the more infamy you get, the higher prices you get, the more medals payout you get, and the sooner you can buy a better weapon, in a way. So for hitting bases to get up in the infamy compared to medals and whatnot, that means you can pick a better quality product than if you're not playing or get high infamy. The alliances and the medals in Battle Park, they're just a joke.
I mean, the alliance bonus is actually really good because I've seen it in the raid when, especially with gunners. If we lose gunners, all of a sudden my raid fleet becomes crap. Like all my antis are shooting less because of the accuracy and.
I have not seen it, but I won't contradict you if you say it's happening. That's happening, but I have not seen it.
Oh yeah, it start taking a lot more damage than usual.
Okay.
Start taking. You've never seen it when alliance points resets on like one of those long raids where all of a sudden your fleet starts getting hit more often, or to start taking more damage.
I have not noticed it. Has anyone else done that?
I think no one else.
Well, I mean,
we're at the 2-hour mark at this point. Is there?
I didn't even notice. I thought it was. I thought we were still on the 1 hour.
You thought it was the 30-minute mark, didn't you?
Yeah, it was like.
Yeah. We were just getting fresh, and we were just starting the show. But yeah, in reality, we've been going for 2 hours. At least I realize that, internally. But does anybody have anything that, related to like the Inquisitor or the new Rivals auras or anything that would be helping people for the week? Because we won't be on again until Wednesday.
No, but we were having a conversation, you son of a bitch.
Whatever. What are you talking about? I lost track.
I think we should just stop with the kick side rants. It's not like.
Well, I can't help it. I'm sure that George will probably mute me again, but with this new TLC, I have to go back in time. Mel Brooks, The Inquisition, what a show! The Inquisition, here we go.
You just
All right, guys, we
dated
got a singer
yourself.
for the rest of the night.
Yeah, you just dated yourself to like everyone that's watching this show.
Yeah.
That's cool. I haven't had a date in weeks. That's so cool, and I know the person I'm dating.
Weeks? We're thinking decades right here.
Yeah. I might be in that camp right there.
That's from.
I still think they need to do something about dead bases on the map. I kind of had an idea. I threw it in the chat there that if
Quit hitting bases that have zero medals. I mean, all these people that are complaining that everybody's dead are the ones that are looking for reasonable levels to hit, and they're hitting, medals that are, bases that are worth 0 medals to them, assuming that they're going to be easy.
They just
And
wants their
that's-
alliance points
Well,
quick.
I
That's
hit,
all.
I hit all
Hit,
them types of
the ones that
bases.
are worth 19
If-
medals to you, and then they're not going to be dead unless.
Now, I have to debate that. I hit a base worth 25 medals and it was dead.
Yeah, I've hit
How many
some bases
medals?
like that
How many
too.
medals? Well, I mean, was it dead continuously? And how many medals do you have?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm in the 300 range.
Oh well, that might be why.
300 inch, or like 300 exactly, or 390?
Like the last time that I checked, I had like 314.
I
Yeah,
have
that's why.
339, and I've actually hit some higher bases that had medals on it, and it was totally dead base. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, but I mean, the people like what Hefe is saying is like, when you hit about 400 medals and up, if someone has 19 medals, they're still on. I mean, I haven't seen many that had that many medals for me that are off. But the other thing is too is like I saw that thing in chat where you said make them auto bubble, right?
yeah. And then as soon
The
as they
problem,
ahead.
yeah, the problem with having that though is that can totally be taken advantage of. Like I can think of at least 3 exploits to that right now. I mean, it's not something like I would say, if you start talking about like 6 weeks and they haven't logged on, take them and move them into, sector 0, all for it. I can live with that. But like after, like if we're talking just days or a week, no, man, like I like people that deploy or people that have a job that requires travel and, they're like, okay, screw this. I'll exploit the hell out of that thing. And
right, but then it would pop as soon as they log in.
yeah, that's fine.
That would be.
I
the
make
thought.
sure I start whatever the hell I wanted to start, get bubbled, and don't log in for 3 weeks. I come back, I'm fine. I mean,
Yeah, Jesus Christ, you're never going to do that, George. You're just causing trouble. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't do the FM for 3 weeks, right?
if I got paid to go out onto like an oil platform for 3 weeks, no, I wouldn't. I'm just saying.
But yeah, as far as your gameplay, you would never do that.
Currently, no. I mean, I would try to do the FM currently. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. I mean, until you get the work release.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's all good. So, does anybody have anything of with like the current fleets or the current situation in the game that they want to talk about? So we're I mean, everybody's pushing for us to go for 3 hours, but Mary's joining the show again, and but
Mary's
I'm just curious.
here.
So how many times in magnitude do you think they boosted the Skyfire difficulty? TLC.
I haven't done it. I actually was going to ask like what everyone's opinion was on reruns, because some people are getting really upset that there's like, oh, there's like 5 TLCs and I'm like, dude, there's one new one and the rest are reruns. I can live with that. What about you guys?
I remember that they made it so incredibly hard in this run through. It's ridiculous.
So they've upped the damage in that? I mean,
I'd say threefold easily.
I have stacked up on the icebreaker tokens and the monolith tokens because I have some X armor, M armor, and whatnot on those fleets, and when they get obsolete and I want that charge armor, I can take them off for free because I have like 20 and whatnot tokens lying around.
Yes, I'm streamed today, and it was unbelievable.
right, but I'm talking like just in terms of having the reruns versus new ones. Like, do you guys have a problem when they do reruns? Like, is there an issue if they have like 5 reruns every week?
No.
I think the only issue that I have is associated with what halls they require. The fact that pretty much all of them were garrison halls, except for the newest one.
That's true.
That's the only issue that I would see that people would have was what, especially since we're required to use the garrison halls in the FM. So you're overworking one part of our arsenal. and don't let the rest of the arsenal be used. Make sense?
That's why you have to gear complete.
Well, it's like I like the reruns. Personally, I really like them. Sometimes I'm in a situation where I'm building more on my fleet and I couldn't quite do Prize Pool 2 the last time they did it. Well, now they've redone it. I've got better ships. Boom, I can get Prize Pool 2, just as an example. I know that they couldn't just make those as permanent campaigns because of factors behind the scene with the coding, since they're using them as forsaken mission targets as well. I understand why they can't do that, but like personally, I would rather see the TLCs, instead of being constant reruns, as being, okay, it's here, you do it when you get the opportunity. But I also agree with the damage factors. It's like for instance, the Skyfire has a higher, from the last time that I did it, it honestly felt like the damage factor was even higher than it was during the raid. That's insane.
They did that with something else too, wasn't it? One of the
one of the
mono runs.
I think one of the rival ones.
Oh, the gluttony. When the gluttony came back out again, they did it with that.
God, the damage was insane.
Yeah, like that. I don't understand that, because the people that, I want the token, so I'm going to run it, and I'm going to run it with gluttonies, right? Yeah, so fine, I understand that, but the problem is that the actual primary reason you're running that campaign for players is for the players that don't have it, right? They want to get it, so you can't retune it to the people that want to go in and get just the tokens, right? I mean, if that's the case, then just don't let us play it at all. I would rather have you keep the damage the same and let those that don't have it have access, rather than barring them and raising the bar of the thing more because of the people that already have the access. That's not going to help the game overall. In the long run, that's going to hurt. Because guess what? I have 2 fleets of fucking gluttonies, and your ass doesn't have any because you weren't able to run the thing. So I'm going to come smash your ass with both fleets of gluttonies. How do you like that shit? That's not good. It's bad. That's very bad for the game.
I mean, I was trying to do it with Tide Seekers, and because I don't have Hell Wraiths built, long story behind it, 4 Tide Seekers, I could not do Prize Pool 1 because my fleet was dead in 2 encounters, 12 hours of repair. I don't have the Harlock Tide, or it would have been like 52 hours of repair, but you know what I mean.
You might have made it with it, though.
I'm not even sure what to say about this. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm going to put myself on mute.
If we see at the stats at the game today, do you agree with me that like 90% of the revenue that the kicks they get is from long-time players like we are?
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say 100%. I don't know if I'd be 100% on that statement. I would have caveats attached to said statement.
Because I think that in a way that keeps this game going, and actually, the revenue is the long-time players, because I don't see many new players rising to the occasion and get into this game.
I think they need to get some new players in, and honestly, just like before, word of mouth is going to be key. And look, I'll say it very bluntly, and I know people hate the shit out of this, but I have zero problem with them going, hey, a new player has joined the game. Guess what? We're going to give you, I don't know, Zealous Tank, 2 monoliths, and there you go. Go kill some shit. You know what? Because I want them engaged from the damn minute they hit the water, and I want them hooked. Because, damn it, we need more players, and that will hook them.
Yeah. I agree. That's the only way, because if a player starts from scratch, he has no chance to get...
That's not true. That's not true. I mean, I did an 88 with just tier 2 tech or less. 1 Citadel, 1 Punisher, no phalanxes,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
non-rare
but George,
damage.
George, you are a long-time player. You understand the mechanics, and you player, he does not really understand the game that well.
Right, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means that the learning curve is exceptionally steep, and that is something that I have a problem with. The learning curve is exceptionally steep. I don't agree with that, which is why I want them to give away. I mean, give away the fucking monoliths. I don't give a shit. I don't care how hard I worked for it. If it means new players, right? Then
Yeah.
yes, giving away a Skyfire fleet, not a cool thing, because you know what? That's not going to really up anyone's basic game. It's not going to get them through the FM. It's not going to, but giving them like some monos and a zealous flag and shit, I'll take the ones that I designed too. I don't give a crap if they're great builds. I mean, give them something so they can go in and start whacking away at shit.
Yeah, I agree.
They need daily login rewards.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, if your goal is to have a daily count, sure. I don't know that their goal is to have a daily count. I don't think they give a crap about the daily count. I think they give a crap about how many people are actually engaged in the game. And engagement is, a very interesting thing when you start looking into it. And I think that if you're gonna get this game stable and have players stay and stick with the game and get new players in here, you've got to give them incentive and not just like a daily, hey, you know what, here's a gold coin, or you have a chance at this. No, get the new players in, give them some good fucking fleets, let them go in and see what it's all about, why this shit's fun, right?
Yeah.
If you're a mid-level player, and this is where I have issues. Like if you're a mid-level player, you're struggling. You don't want to see them giving away a full Skyfire fleet, right? But damn it, don't start having the TLCs come out and bumping up the fucking difficulty. Let those mid-levels and lower levels and struggling players have a fucking chance to get up, because I'll tell you, if they're struggling or if they don't understand the game or something, right, and they continually, series after series after series go, okay, shit, I don't have something for this raid set, I don't have something for this raid set, or they feel like they failed the raid set because they couldn't quite get it. You know what, throw them a bone. If every other raid set they do well because you made it easy for them to get, like, say, Skyfires, right? Fuck yes, because they're going to stay with the game. They're not going to quit. Because you know what? Yeah, they might have had a bad month or two. But you know what? By the time the third month came around, those Skyfires I won in that TLC, and I got the extra tokens the next month, I'm actually able to do the store raid, right? And where in the hell is someone going to spend their damn coin? In the fucking store raid. Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just They gotta start concentrating on smaller things and concurrently looking at the big picture at the same time. I mean, it's gotten very complex, and it's gotten complex from their side as well. I mean, the community is very diverse now, and you're talking about trying to balance between level 40s and level 50s and level 110s and 120s. I mean, that's not an easy task.
No, I don't like how a 50 can get hit by 105. That's a great deterrent for them to say, hey, that's not fair. Why should I do that?
Look, I don't know. Like, I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for this, but I definitely had a very, very, very long conversation about that several months ago now, actually. And they're aware. I just don't know that it's something that is easily done and manipulated in the game. They're also have they're also looking at other things too. So,
Well, they changed it before quite easily. Why can't they do it again?
your definition of quite easily and their definition of quite easily might not be the same definition.
I think that also a good way to go is actually the weekly Forsaken mission every week. All the stuff they add to the tier 5 every time. If you are, like you, Joe, say, a high-end player, you play, stay on top, why can't you get the tokens? Why do you need to add 4 or 5 prizes every time after an event? Because when we see what we have in the price 5, there are a lot of shit that we really don't need, and a lot of shit is bad. I think like 10% of what's in tier 5 is good. A lot of the other stuff, we don't need them, but a player like level 80 or 70, a mid-level player, he can use a lot of that shit, but he has not the fleet to get to price tier 5. So he has to put down stuff from 5 down to 4 and 3, I think.
Yeah, 3 and 4 for generalist tech. That's the way it should be, not tier 5. People who
Yeah, I agree, Barry.
don't need it.
Yeah, as far as some of the stuff that shows up, and it's obviously token blocker.
A slowdown mechanism. Yeah.
Yeah, it's token blocker. It's obvious. I mean, and the only problem I see associated with that is the fact that the people that need that technology can't get to it, and that's part of the problem as far as the way I see things are constructed. This generalist technology is getting thrown in tier 5, and like I think Rum Runner was going to say, it shouldn't be tier 5. It should be tier 3, tier 4, depending what it is.
Yes, and if they're afraid to give 2 plus 3 people tokens, okay, from now on it's just 2 plus 1, whatever. You get only 3 days shipbuild tokens if you're a high-end player. A high-end player can live with that. But if that means you can push much of the stuff down to the mid-level, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with repositioning some of that stuff. Because if you look at tier 5 and tier 4, the first 2 or 3 generally make sense. But once you get past the first 2 or 3, it doesn't make as much sense as far as like things that are applicable to a new player or somebody that's emerging in the game. I mean, that's if you take a good look at it, it's frustrating, I think, for a lot of players to see like, oh well, okay, I'm gonna get this, that, and then I'm gonna get two relevant things, and then I'm gonna get a lot of crap for 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's it's not good.
I stopped playing for over half a year, and I started playing up again. And actually next week I will get the heavy lance missile and 2 plus whatever, 1 and 3. And that has taken me half a year to catch up on the price pool 5.
Yeah.
And that's and I'm level now. I'm 112, I think, and I really had some reasonably good shit, so I can get back. But the time to catch up, that's just insane. I think it's close to 50 prizes in price pool 5, and that's just insane.
No, it's that needs to be fixed, and that's something we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
It really needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
46 prizes in tier 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you add 3 a week,
sometimes 4.
No, we're just gonna go with 3
per month, not week.
Yeah, per month.
Sorry, 3 per month. How long does that take you to catch up?
Well,
I'm not doing the math. Somebody else volunteered to do the math.
As I'm sitting right now, and I have prizes in prize pool 5, and it's going to be without them adding a single item to it. It's going to be November or December before I fill up prize pool 5 without them adding a single thing to it.
Yeah, but what happens if they add 3?
Well,
November next year.
that adds an extra week every single month.
If they add 3, it's a week and a half.
Week to a week and a half, depending on how many items they add that particular month. Plus, you have to knock out a week because of raids. So, it's insanity. beating my brains out, just going, boy, I would love to get those tokens. Maybe in 2019.
It's like 10 months.
You will get them in 2020 when there no more support for.
Yeah, I'm curious what percentage of the players are actually getting them.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know.
Yeah,
Getting what?
Getting the tokens every week. Like, I do, and I assume you do. That gets the tokens every week, and we talk about the game based on
The only people that are playing the game.
Actually, I'd be very
Yeah,
curious
I
to
mean,
know. I would really be curious to know what the percentage of players are that get that that actually complete the cycle every month.
I
About
have
percent
completed the cycle. I've completed the cycle every single month that it was available, with the possible exception of when I injured my hand and was in the hospital in 2013. Since the FM's been available.
Okay. And this wasn't some sort of.
And Kev, are you saying that you're like the epitome of everyday Joe player, or I mean,
no.
That's why we're talking about percentages.
And this wasn't some sort of porn incident, was it?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
No.
They found him in the zoo.
Nothing to do with smoking showers or anything like that.
Okay.
You guys are cruel. I was out working on my beautiful tomatoes during the summer of July 13th.
Whatever.
What tomatoes?
Oh, good
Oh,
grief.
so you were with
Tomatoes, cantaloupes. I see.
Tomatoes, baby. Tomatoes.
Yeah.
They're nice, soft,
Go
velvety
ahead,
skin. They're nice, soft, velvety skin.
Nice plump tomatoes.
The summer with
Wait, are we still live?
I can't hear whoever's talking. I'm sorry.
I just wondered if we were still live.
The tomatoes?
Oh, he's still alive. I've been
Yeah,
trying.
they're in my belly.
It's alive.
Oh, okay.
Get in my belly.
Yeah.
I withdraw what I said.
But back to seriousness, I think it would be a cool thing if Kickstarter could do something with the Forsaken mission every week, that they can push down the prices. So the average or the mid-level player could actually get some stuff that will, oh wow, I can get this one. Wow, I can actually take the Forsaken mission. Now it's much closer to get the price pack 5.
The thing I don't get is when you can get something and you can do something, you feel like doing more. When you're stymied and stuck and can't get there, it's like you feel like you don't want to.
Amen.
And they should make it so that, it's almost like a bait on a hook, where you're able to do something, you get excited about it. Hey, I want to do more.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Either this show has gone on way too long, or I have like an exceptionally dirty mind. I'm just saying.
You have an exceptionally dirty mind.
Okay.
Quit looking at Gorilla Slap's nuts.
It could be a healthy combination of the two, just so that you know. We can't put the blame in any specific place.
Stop staring at the gorilla.
Exactly.
Okay, it was my fault.
I don't actually have the hangouts up, so I'm not sure which gorilla we're talking about, but okay.
Okay, good.
What's wrong with you?
Well, if the girl is a gorilla, you're on deep shit.
Well, it could be my fault, George. I did mention Taylor Swift really early on. Don't worry, I'm muting myself.
Oh my god.
Whatever. We don't need to talk about Canadians anymore. But
There goes the wrecking ball.
because nobody's actually provided any new content as far as it relates to things that have been recently released in the game.
Well, I don't think any of us are devs in order to actually be able to give you any new content. I mean,
No,
I'm just saying,
new comments associated with what's been released in the game. So I think I'm going to go to the after show.
You think it's time?
Well, I tried like a half an hour ago, but nobody would let me. So I think I'll do that and figure out,
What the hell just happened tonight? Yeah.